Hello and welcome to this Xbox Life episode number 671 titled Deathloop Has Arrived. Or
Take
also,
3.
every show is like the first show. We are not affiliated with Microsoft or the Xbox in any way. This is a show being done by fans, for fans of the Microsoft Xbox, and the views and opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect those of Microsoft, and you probably don't want us as your IT team, even though we are like all in that field industry for some reason. Anyway, my name is Rob, also known as Presar, and with me as always, that little giggle that you heard, that's my good buddy Mark.
I'm laughing because if they knew what had happened, we're now 35 minutes late. If they would have known this is our third attempt at recording. the stupid crap that has gone on today trying to get this show out. And like you said, we're all IT professionals, but you don't want us working for you.
But you know what? We have perseverance. We are. We don't give up. We keep going until we make it happen. That is the sign of excellence.
That's right.
Or something.
So yes, as Rob said, my name is Mark, also known as Wingman 709 on Xbox Live.
And also the quiet one while we've been bantering here is Mr. Brun.
Yeah, I almost wanted to be like, have this long thing and be like, Brun, you're on mute. So I could come in and be like, yeah, this is our first time ever doing this.
Yeah.
And fun fact, I just got the email that we're recording a show today
from
Zencaster. I just got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I have a rant this week, it's going to be at Zen.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm Brun, BJ Swig 33. Yep.
Yeah, we apparently have technical issues on every single day that ends in a Y.
Yep.
So
only on days that end in Y, though, so it's not, not every day.
That's true. That is very true. So, anyway, with all that aside, let's hear what we've been playing.
Now that all my buttons are in the wrong spot.
And hey, at least that one wasn't deleted.
I was waiting for you to click the roll, click where that used to be and have it be like a different soundbite.
I went to the news button. It's like, yeah, everything's messed up now.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah. So I'll go first real quick. Been doing Guns Up Mobile, of course, a whole bunch of that as usual. It's actually cutting into my Clash Royale time, which is interesting. But man, I got into a really funky area with that game where I just went to Command Center 6, went to CC6, and it really kind of sucks. I wish I didn't upgrade into 6 as quickly, because I've got this issue now where I get raided so much. They take all my stuff. They take all my gold. They take all my munitions. And I don't have any money to actually upgrade my stuff to prevent them from raiding me. And of course, immediately I'm thinking, man, this is how they get you to drop money on this game or something like that. But then again, I'm thinking it's more my fault for maybe upgrading a little too soon. I don't know what soon is. Maybe just having it at the point of where you can upgrade should be enough. But still, that is really freaking annoying. And I got to figure out a way to get around that. And then I've also been playing went back to Call of Duty Mobile, which I haven't played for quite some time, like maybe 3 seasons. I haven't touched it. And it's kind of fun to get back into that. It's a light little diversion to play some, quick games. And I think that's about it. Nothing else. How about you, Mark? Whoa, you got a big list. Somebody's been playing some stuff.
I've been playing games, not all on the Xbox, but I'm going to throw some in here anyways. Gems of War. Think I tinkered in that a day or two. I did play some more Immortals Phoenix Rising. I gotta say at this point, this game's really irritating the crap out of me at this point. I really enjoy the game. And I actually heard someone else talking about this, and it's funny because I was listening to another podcast last night, And I just started laughing because this guy was like, they were asking him about it. And he said, I'm tired of climbing up a wall and falling off and dying. And I just started laughing because I know exactly what he's talking about. I think the only downfall of this game is the stamina. It really, like, all the people you fight, all the monsters and baddies that you fight, they're not impeded by stamina. They just have unlimited stamina. They don't have a stamina bar. They can just keep attacking you and whatnot. You have a stamina bar. And so, like, you can go in for attack, but then if you use like a heavy attack or you attack twice, then your stamina is depleted. And it's like you can't even roll out or jump out to get away. And then they're going to be like, bam, bam, bam. They just keep pummeling you and you die. Or you've got to try to climb up a really tall tower or mountain or something, and you don't have enough stamina. Now, yes, you can have these potions, which you can tap the right button to, like, on the fly drink a stamina potion, and then if you hold it, if you don't have any fully created, then you can hold it to like consume the mushrooms that you pick up to make the potions. But then you hold that and it slowly recharges that as you're using it. But if you don't have any of that because you fought a whole bunch of dudes on your way to where you're going, and then you haven't seen any new mushrooms to pick up, and then you don't really want to travel all the way back to the main area to freaking make more potions. It's a pain. It's a real pain, and it's like the one. This is my one problem with this game is the stamina. That, and to me, it's just unfair. It's like it's not fair to allow everyone else in the game, all your enemies, to not have to deal with stamina, and you do. I think it really kind of ruins the fun of the game, especially when you're trying to take on, you'll get this warning, don't, this is a legendary boss. Make sure you've got, all your stuff leveled up before you go in. And it's like, well, I don't want to spend another hour trying to go farm mushrooms and then go back to the main area to do the potions to turn them all in so that I can constantly, so I can have 800 potions of stamina so I can keep my stamina up. It's like, it's just so stupid. It really impacts what is really a very fun game. That every time something happens, it's because I had no stamina. And it's just like, yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I like the game, but as it's getting harder and leveling up, that stamina is even creating more of a problem. So, hate to see that. I wish they would remove that. But I also heard from someone, if anyone's wondering what Immortals Phoenix Rising is like, I think I said before that I believe it's kind of like a Zelda game. Well, I heard again on this same show I was listening to last night, they said it's basically Ubisoft's version of Zelda. So I guess this is what a Zelda game is like, since I've not played. So if you like Zelda, you might want to, and you haven't tried this, I'd say give it a shot. I've also played Celasta Crown of the Magister. Brun, I did put it down to baby mode, and when we talked about that stupid vampire lady, um, putting it down to the lowest difficulty, I got through her in one shot.
Okay.
And so I've continued on, and actually forgot to put it back. And after a while, it's just like, man, I'm taking damage, and it's like I'm like barely like dying. Like all of a sudden, the game got real easy, and then I was like, oh, I forgot to put it back up. I need to readjust now back up, at least up one level, because it's just like ridiculously easy now. But I am progressing through the story, so I've gotten quite a ways into the game. Um, I think it is easier when you're trying to control 4 different people and manage their inventories and their weapons, and I hate that you can't only do like one action of inventory. Like, it is frustrating. Like, and if you switch a weapon, like, so if I'm on their sword and then I see a guy in the distance, okay, or they're
Yeah.
carrying their sword around and then we go into combat And it's like, okay, they're all distance. Well, and then I switch to so then I switch over to like their crossbow or to their bow and arrow. And then you see, well, they don't have any arrows. Oh, okay. Well, I go into the inventory to drag some arrows over, and it's like you've already used your inventory option just by switching weapons.
And you should be able to put arrows in there no matter what.
I have to go into the inventory like first.
Yeah.
Like you have to go into the inventory first, make sure they have arrows in their slots.
Right.
Before you change the weapon, because they won't let you change your weapon back. So it's like if you switch over, or say you switch to the bow and arrow, and then it says you have 0, you go in there, and if you don't have any, oh crap, this person doesn't have any, and then you can't change them in the combat. You can't like have someone else drop them on the ground, or because you're in combat, you're posed. Well, you can't switch back to your sword. You have to wait to your next move. I'm like, this is so dumb.
Yeah, you gotta put arrows on them when you're walking around before you're in combat.
Yeah, and it's like when you got 4 characters, I got some with bows, some with crossbows, some just using magic, and then I had my wizard all of a sudden had no weapon in their hand, and it wasn't showing in their inventory, but I was like, I did like an attack, and it was still saying that it showed I was doing like damage with the mace. But I'm like, it's not in their hand. There's nothing there. I had to actually completely quit the game and come back in, and then it like reappeared, and I'm just like, whatever. But the game is a lot of fun, and I'm still really enjoying it. But my other beef would be, I'm kind of stuck right now. So I will look at the map, and it says there's like, you see these different towns, and they'll have like an exclamation point over it because that means you've got something to do there. And then I'll go to that town, and I can't find on the map. There's like nothing to tell me where to go. And I can't find a way to well, how do you bring up like a journal or the like, where's my mission list?
Well, yeah, I think it's J for journal, but what is it? Are you looking for a particular person?
No, I've got like right now I've got 3 or 4 different towns that all have exclamation points on them.
Yeah.
But then when I go there and I look at the map, sometimes you'll see an exclamation point, or you'll see oh, here it is on the map. This is where I need to go. And then other times it's like, there's nothing. And then so I'm like, I'm walking around to talk to every single person, and like nothing happens. And I've had to leave towns because I'm like, it says there's a mission here and I can't find it. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And then it's like, well, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do here. Like, what am I supposed to? So it's just an exclamation point saying you have a task, but where do I pull up? I can't find how to, like, where's my list or my list of tasks that I'm working on? Like, where is that? Because I can't find it in the console.
Yeah, for me, it's either tab or like, you open up your inventory, or like, I don't know on the console, but there's times where I know we had like certain things we had to do, but it was like, it was only at a certain period of time of the day. So it was like, it had to be done at night. And
yeah, I've seen that where like you had to sit on a bench and then it would turn dark. Yeah, and then you could go into a building or something, but
yeah. So, and Adam's had to look up a couple, because one time it was like, go talk to this person, and we had to like, well, where is this person? It was like, well, you have to do all these other things first before you can go talk to that person, but it never really told you that.
Yeah, that's like right now, I'm like, I've got all these missions, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know. I can't find anything or anybody. So I might just, at this point, I might have to do that, look up like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
So, but I don't even know like the mission name. That's the other thing. I was like, well, how do I find out what is the mission in this town? Okay.
There is a mission.
I must just be missing it. I'll have to just sit down and like pull this up and go through all the menus and see if I can find it. So it's probably there, and I'm just not finding it. Okay. Yep. I also new to Game Pass this month. You Suck at Parking. I love the title. I'm like, I have to check this out because it looked really dumb, and it is dumb, and it is hard. it's like you're looking down on it's top down. You're looking at your little cartoonish car, and all you really have is your throttle and your brake and turning. There's no reverse. It's extremely difficult to control. And it's like it goes real fast. You got to really be careful with you don't just pull your right trigger in and throttle it. You gotta throttle the throttle. You gotta, if you know what I'm saying, you gotta feather that thing, and you can't stop either. So if you run into a wall and you're trying to back up, you're done. Like you fail because there's no reverse. Your car also has a limited amount of gas, and it's not much. And so like the object is you have a start point and you drive your little car out and you're just trying to park it in this parking spot. And like when you first start out, it's just you're trying to learn how to control the car. I mean, it's tough. Very quickly into it, once you've kind of like, okay, I've done like 3 levels, I'm getting this, because then you'll have it like, well, you can run off the road, off the mountainside. There's nothing there to stop you. And then you go into like the next area, and it's like, okay, well, now we've got magnets. You have to avoid them because they're gonna suck you in. And around the magnets are like these laser beamed walls that'll destroy you. And then, oh yeah, all the other boundary markers, like the rubber tires that you would bounce off before. Yeah, no, those are all lasers, and they'll destroy you, so you can't touch the edge. And then there's like, oh, now go park, and you got to jump off a mountain. You got to do your like S turns and jump off this mountaintop over and land on this other area in this big parking lot. There's 3 parking spaces, and the parking lot's full of mines.
Nice.
I was laughing my butt off playing this. But this is a game that's like, I'm not going very far with this. I even handed it, my daughter was laughing at me, and I handed her the controller and I took her back to level 1. I said, here you go. And she couldn't even park the first car. She's like, oh, she just handed it back. She's like, this is stupid. So if you got kids, teenagers saying, I need a driver's license, mom and dad, say, here, learn to park, and hand them this game. Say, once you master this, then we'll talk. That'll delay it for a long time. But anyways, also played some Fortnite. Played actually with Adam and Run today. Started season. So what is this? Chapter 3, season 4?
No, I don't even know.
I don't know.
New
season started today.
I think it is 4. You're right.
Okay, so we started that today. Just for the record, after we were done, I was at level 8. Bron was at level 5, and I did not buy any levels.
I was at 7.
It showed 5 on my screen. Okay, which didn't make sense. That didn't make sense. I was like, you were ahead of me by a level earlier.
Yeah, I'm a couple blocks away from 8.
Yeah, I must have done some challenge that you didn't, because you were ahead by a whole level.
It was the mending machine or something like that.
But I don't know. It's new, all bunch of new stuff, new areas, new things to learn. This one's very different. You have what do they call that? Chrome. You can become a blob of chrome. So it's different, and you can go through walls when you're this blob of chrome. Or if you have this like chrome grenade thing that you throw, you can throw it at a wall, and then you can basically go through the wall. And you'll see walls that like weird colors. And that's because they've been quote chromed, and then you can like warp through them. You don't just walk through them like it's not there. It does this weird thing like you're going warping through it, but you can go through walls. And if you're the blob of chrome, which is funny, it's like this liquid blob that keeps changing shape, but you can go through walls. You can speed around a lot quicker, and which is good. And I would say keep these things on you, because when the storm comes, man, this circle is hauling budutsky, whatever. It is moving. You only have so much, again, stamina, But when you're a chrome blob, you can go at a high speed indefinitely, at least until your chrome thing wears out, which seemed to last for a long time. But there's a lot of new stuff to the game, so we were having fun playing that today. And that's it for the console. I want to push again for everybody. RPG Dice Heroes of Whitestone. I'm playing on my iPad. This is a mobile title. It's free to play. You guys got to play this. Join the TXL Guild. I'm the only one in the guild. I'm a lonely, but I'm completing guild things and getting rewards, but it'd be a lot easier with an actual guild. So if you do join, just doing and playing the game, there's every day there's like challenges every day, and they're simple things. So if you're just playing it for a little bit, you'll complete things, and then as the guild completes these things, as we all do different things, we gain points and unlock rewards and stuff. Plus, there's all that in the regular game as you're playing it. Now, if you did start playing it pretty quickly, I think after you learn it, it's like, oh, buy a character and it's like $50 or something. You don't have to you don't have to buy it. They have some very expensive stuff in this game. But I only bought one so far. And it was because it was something I actually wanted. But there is they really like people to pay, and there's ways that they kind of there are ways that they're gonna block people from getting things in the store unless you're certain VIP levels, and to get a VIP level, you got to spend money in the store. But it's I think a lot of the stuff like getting golden dice and different things, I think you'll still find those types of things in the regular gameplay. I know I've gotten epic loot and stuff like that without having to pay for anything, but I really do enjoy this game a lot. It's really neat. I just completed the second campaign area, and now it unlocked this like tower game. So there's all these different modes that it unlocks as you go through. It just kind of keeps expanding. And it's really fun. You get lots of characters. The animations and everything are fantastic. There's a lot about the art style of this game is really cool. It's just, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. There's something very addicting about this game for me. But again, that's RPG Dice Heroes of Whitestone. Check it out. And then I was teasing Rob. I've been texting Rob a lot this week. And been bugging him.
Texting, not sexting, by the way.
Texting.
Enunciate, please. Thank you.
Texting. Yes. No, I had to block your sexting messages. That was a little like, Rob, come on, get a girl, man. Anywho, I've been about I don't know, but a couple weeks ago, I'm like, you know what? I want to start playing board games with the kids, and so I was like, I had a shelf that was full of Funko Pops, and I basically boxed them all up, and I told my kids, I was like, go get the games out of the game closet that we have. Well, before I knew it, I had my whole room here was full of games. I was like, I didn't know we had this many board games, you know, and then I was looking at some things that I'm like wanted to try, and we made some purchases, and the next thing I know, it's like I think I'm into a new hobby.
Yep. So it sneaks up on you.
So I took pictures of and I sent to Rob yesterday. I was like, look at my new shelves. I won't even go. I got a really cool story about shelving units, but I won't bore everybody here. But anyways, I picked up a new card game this week called Doomlings, and that is really fun. It's a really fun card game for families, kids, older adults. I actually had my youngest son and my mother made her play. We went over to dinner at her place the other day, and I made her play, and she actually really enjoyed it. My youngest son wanted me to play Monopoly Cheaters Edition with him, and I kicked his butt because he's horrible at cheating. I cheated so many times, and he didn't even see it happen. And then every time he was doing it, I was like, he thinks I'm not looking. And I'm like, yeah, you can just go ahead and go to jail. He's like, what? I'm like, I can see you. Ow, you're not even looking at me. Like, it's called peripheral vision. And I know as soon as I look away, you're going to do something.
It's called being a parent.
Yeah, and it's just the fact that you wanted to play Cheaters Edition. So, but and then I also played a new game that's my new love. It's called Dice Throne. Highly recommend this. It's really fun. It's a dice card game mix. It really is kind of like Yahtzee at the core, but it's like Battle of Yahtzee almost. Really, you're rolling dice in the way of like you would with Yahtzee, trying to get combinations to do attacks. So in the regular dice thrones, you're competitive against another person, or you can do up to groups. So like my two kids that are still at home with me, we've played and basically battle each other till there's one person left. And then I added we got in this weekend Dice Throne Adventure, which takes the original game and adds cooperative mode to it. And it basically, you can kind of think of it, makes it a dungeon crawler. And so now all of us will work competitive or cooperatively and take on bosses and minions as we're going through what they call portals, which is kind of think of like a dungeon, and going and fighting and getting loot. And you're trying to go through the portal, get the loot, get all the loot you can, unlock the portal boss, fight the portal boss, and if you're successful, then you get like you roll dice and you get different levels of loot that you can and you're earning gold, and then you can use your gold to purchase your loot and stuff at the store between your different portal levels, and it basically works up and gets harder and harder and harder until you're fighting the Mad King, which is the guy you hear about in the original Dice Thrones, which like you never fight. This is the way you fight him. So, but it's like a campaign type of thing, so it won't be something we can finish today. It's I think the you score like you could end up going up to like 20 rounds to try to beat the Mad King. So it's going to be something that will go on for us, and they got this big score sheet. You keep track of everything, and it just looks like a blast. So we're going to be playing that tonight for the first time, and we're excited. And then we're also going to. My daughter wants to play a quick game of DC Deck Builder. We haven't played that in a long time, so but we're gonna squeeze that in before dinner, and then after dinner, it's going to be Dice Throne Adventure. So, Rob, I made a comment to you. I was serious. You want to kickstart this board game life back up? I thought it'd be cool if we do that. Yeah. Like, you're the expert, you got all the knowledge, and I'm the newbie. Like, I think that might be a good combination of people to host another podcast. And and I'm like really like all week. It's just been like, I got my cell phone was at Board Game Geek and signed into was it Board Game Arena and like watching like YouTube. That's all I've done is watch YouTube of all these different
like how to
games, how to play stuff, and what people recommend. And man, some of these people are like, "Here's our haul for the week. Here's the 70 games we played this month." I'm like, what?
Oh yeah.
But anyways, I've been going way too long, so that's what I've played this week. How about you, Braun?
Continuing F1 Manager 2022. I got my first podium. Very happy about that. As you said earlier,
does that mean that means you placed first through third, right?
Yeah, I placed third in an event in a race. So yep, I was pretty happy about that one. Fortnite, like you said, Battlefield 2042. Got my week 2 event stuff done. I got to do week 3. I'll probably be playing tomorrow. And then played some Assetto Corsa because 505 Games has a sale in Steam, and the latest DLC for that game, which brought 3 maps, 3 US excuse me. Got something stuck in my throat.
Breathe, Braun, breathe.
I know. The patch brought 3 US tracks to the game. So I got those and did my 3 stars on them, because you have to like do 4 laps without having like any incidents off tracks or at a decent pace and stuff to qualify the track. So then like when you're going into online mode, they're like, yeah, you gotta have 3 stars before you can race in this track with anybody. Kind of saying that the track. So I did all 3 of those. And played some. I downloaded again Gems of War, and I've been obviously had to start all over. But I've been playing it again.
On where are you playing this? Console or
PC? iOS.
Oh. See, I wish that game had crossplay.
It does it does somewhere somehow. I just don't know where. Because it asked me if I already been playing it somewhere else and wanted like an account or something, but I'm just playing on iOS. So, but yeah, what I've been doing there.
Okay.
All right.
And that's it.
Well, you should look in there if you can join the TXL group on Gems of War. I don't know if it exists cross-platform. Because I know I had a game in iOS and also on the on my Xbox, and they were different.
Okay.
I don't know.
I will look it up.
Due to legal and platform restrictions, you can't play the same game between console, Switch, and other platforms.
Probably Sony blocking it. They're the only ones that don't let you do cross-platform stuff. So,
and you can't also transfer accounts, in-game items, or purchases from Xbox, PlayStation, or Switch to another platform either.
Gotcha.
So dumb.
I don't even care about that. It would just be nice that if Run's playing on his, so he's starting over, he's on his phone, he should be able to join the guild and not be required to be, that's the part I'm like, and maybe you can. So when you get the opportunity to join a guild, see if you can, if it appears.
Actually, I'm going to fire it up because I did all my playing on my phone, and
because then again, you get like when we have I'm going to have to go clear out the membership, but we do have people active in our group on that game still.
Right.
There's some that are way past me. I forgot. I'm trying to think of his name. I just call him Mars all the time because he was Old Man from Mars, and then now he's changed his name, but it's still something Mars. I totally drawn a blank, but he's very active in that game.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. It's just something for me to lay when I'm laying in bed before I go to bed or something to play. But I also downloaded that game. Or
all right.
Downloaded the game you told me. Yeah, but 505 Games, it's funny because that's who makes a set of Corsa too. So I like a lot of stuff. So, all right, what's up next?
Whatever Rob to say. Or are you launching that game, Rob?
No, I had to update it, and then let me see which one.
Okay, well, while you're looking,
no, I can't do two things at once.
No, yeah. While you're looking, I did want to step on you. So go to anchor.fm/This Xbox Life. That's where our show is hosted. You can also send us a voicemail there, so we can put in the show, or you can donate to the show if you'd like to be a supporter of us. Big shout out to Michael Tracy for supporting us. We really appreciate that. You can also email us, contact@thisxboxlife.com if you have any questions, or you can also post at a Facebook group. Actually, I did post out there. I better go check. I don't think there was anything because I did it really late. Yeah, there's nothing out there. But I tried to get a question out there, but I did it too late. See if anyone has questions, but you can always ask us questions there or in the Discord. So that's discord.thisxboxlife.com as well. Or in Facebook. That is it. Let's get to the news. Oh, all right. That one always comes across so loud.
Yeah.
Tried to click it to go down, and it actually made it louder, and then now it's like barely showing, but I don't know, whatever. Oh, one other thing I did forget to mention. We are now posting our audio podcast to YouTube. You probably saw last week, all of a sudden, like our last 2 episodes I put up there for you. So if you are on YouTube a lot, or you can also listen to us there. So once I post the show, it should now, I'll know today, it should automatically post to our YouTube page at thisxboxlife.com. So we used to post them there, and then I don't know, somehow when we made some changes, we stopped doing it. So I've got that reactivated. So if you'd like to subscribe to us on our YouTube channel as well, you can. So we got, so did Rob, just let us know when you find that answer.
I'm in a guild, so it's like I can't search for a guild.
Oh, you're not in ours.
Yeah, and I'm trying to start it up. I'm trying to start it up on my Xbox. I just downloaded it, but it says press A to start, and I'm pressing A to start, and it's doing nothing.
All right. Well, we can always follow up in our Facebook group. But anyways, we've got 19 games. Remember, Xbox has no games, but this past week, 19 games were announced for Xbox Game Pass. Game Pass alone, 19. So now these aren't all this month, okay? And there's going to be a lot more by the time the last one on the list comes out. But they did announce a bunch of stuff. I think all these, these were all to the ID at Xbox Fall Showcase that was this last week and the Tokyo Game Show. There was a lot of news around those. I did not watch the Tokyo Game Show because it was like 2 a.m. or something my time. So no, I'm not getting up for that. And I started to watch the ID at Xbox Fall Showcase, and it was pretty much like the last one, like falling asleep. I find it very boring. They really need to revamp that show and get away from like Twitch doing it. Like they need to, I don't know. I just don't like the way they do that show. But anyways, so on September 14th, so these couple of these are already out. They came out this week when they were announced. So on PC, you've got Amazing Cultivation Simulator. Then on console, PC, and cloud, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That came out on the 15th. So if you haven't played it, it is now available on all those platforms for you. Also on the 15th, we got Danganronpa V3 Anniversary Edition, Fuga Melodies of Steel, Ni no Kuni Remastered. All those are console, PC, and cloud. The next one, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, is Deathloop, coming out on the 20th, console, PC, and cloud. The 29th of this month is Let's Build a Zoo and Valheim. The Valheim is PC. Let's Build a Zoo just says console and TBD. So right now we just know it as console. In October, we've got Evil on console and PC. Dyson Sphere Program on PC, and Norco console and PC. And then to be determined later this year, in 2022, we've got GoldenEye 007, which is coming to console. Homes, and that's confirmed. So cloud and PC are still to be determined, but what I'm giving you is what's been confirmed. Homestead Arcana console. Rainbow Billy, The Curse of the Leviathan is on console. The Big Con and The Walking Dead, the final season, both on console. And that Walking Dead final season, I guess, is from Telltale Games. That's like the conclusion of that story with Clementine, because it never ended when Take-Two, was it Take-Two? Or no, Telltale Games.
Telltale
got sold off. So I don't know who's got it, but someone bought that, and they finally are wrapping that story up. And then in spring of 2023, we got Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle and Guilty Gear Strive, both coming to console. And then sometime next year, Turnip Boy Robs a Bank on console. So, and again, that's just like that's the like things we didn't know about. So we know there's a whole bunch of stuff already still coming. So that's, this doesn't even cover like Starfield and Redfall, and like these are things that we were not aware of. We assumed Deathloop, but nothing had been stated until Tokyo Game Show when they finally when they finally were able to make that announcement. So there's a lot coming to Game Pass. I'm real excited. It's just gonna be good.
Cool. Deathloop's fun. I'm excited for you guys to play it.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Even though it's Arcane Studios. I mean, they make garbage games, but I'll give it a shot.
Best games ever.
Now, there is 2 of us and only 1 of you in this game.
That's why I said it, because I knew you
I
two be
know.
like, hey. No, Arcane Studios makes good stuff. Very highly rated, very good. I tried Dishonored. It just wasn't my game. I just didn't really enjoy it. Nothing against the game. It just didn't interest me. I think it was the era, kind of the setting of the game more
The
than
steampunk
anything.
type
Yes,
thing.
I do not like steampunk. I don't like royalty. Typically, I'm not into like kings and queens and monarchs, and that was part of that setting too. Like it's just not my thing.
Gotcha.
And I think it was too stealthy. I don't mind a few
Yeah, that
stealthy moments, but I'm not a fan. That's why I loved Splinter Cell Blacklist, because I'm like, I could stealth some parts, and some parts you really had to, but the rest of it, man, I'm going guns a-blazing, baby.
yeah. And
So,
Dishonored 2, I mean, even in Dishonored, and Rob can correct me, I mean, you can go in blazing. I mean, you can go in. It's just
good
it
luck
just
getting it done.
well, it manipulates like the game as well a little bit. Like you're I want to call it fear, but it's not like fear, but how you rule, like you said, with like good ruler, bad ruler. Like, do people fear you? Do people not fear you? I forget exactly what the word they use instead of fear, but um, yeah, I like just pacing out and like sneaking up and
Yeah.
hitting people, and somebody like, "What was that?" And all of a sudden, you're like jumping on their head, So,
And there's
yeah,
so many ways too you can get past. Like
yeah,
every area will have maybe 4 different ways to do it. Like you could either take out the guards, or you could turn into a rat and then go through a hole in the wall or something, or um, take over a guard so they take. I mean, there's so many ways you can approach it,
Yeah.
which is cool. But
yeah. And
whatever.
there is an achievement in way to go through the whole game without killing one person, except for one person that you have to, I guess, for the game. Um, or like maybe it's like nobody's found or something. I can't remember, and it makes it extremely hard. But it's more of a tactical, like you said, a tactical stealth type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, very good.
But I'm looking forward to playing Deathloop. I really am
Yeah.
curious to see what that's like. And I mean, that thing got rated a 10, so yeah.
It's got its stealthy moments as well, but you do not have the stealth. Like I'll just tell you, like my entire first time just starting out, like my whole thing was I am going to kill everybody on this map. And I
Yeah.
did. And I'll just say nail gun. It's my favorite. Nail gun for the win. But all right, you guys, I'll keep it at that.
So next, we heard some news this past week that I think it was this past week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, where Halo Infinite is scrapping split screen co-op. And after that was promised, and are we talking about? I guess I don't see it, but and I'm not going to go into the whole thing with Bonnie Ross, but she has retired, and left 343 Studios. They got some new people. The one thing I want to say is, and I've heard a lot of speculation on other places, and I just don't want to do that. But what I thought was interesting is she has retired and has left, and they have put 3 people. It took 3 people to replace what she was doing. So either she had too much on her plate. I kind of
That's
think
probably what I mean.
when you have to have regardless of if it was that way or she demanded that way, whatever. I've heard, it doesn't matter if someone's got that much on their plate that you can hire 3 people to replace them, or it takes 3 people to replace them. Then she was overworked, and maybe I think this is good for the franchise to maybe some things will get working better because you got more focus, you got more people kind of managing these different aspects. So hang in there. I know the Halo fans have been real upset. I think we've voiced our distaste for what's going on with the franchise. I want more Halo campaign. I absolutely love Halo Infinite campaign.
Yeah.
It was so much fun and so gorgeous, and I want to go back and play it. I want to play it co-op with my daughter. Like, give it to us, come on. But I think they'll right the ship. I do believe they will. But the one thing that a lot of people are upset about is the takeaway of split screen co-op. And I thought this was interesting that Digital Foundry actually, I'm going to just read this article. So I'm not, this was on Reddit, or no, I don't, not the story, but this article I'm reading is from Pure Xbox. The image was from Reddit, but it says, you may recall a couple of weeks ago, Halo fans found a way to get a local split screen working in the campaign in Halo Infinite. And the most bizarre thing of all was that it was working really well despite having been canceled. Digital Foundry took a look at the split screen exploit this week as well. And after putting it through its paces, they came away with the verdict that it's excellent and feels so close to completion. Here's a bit of what they had to say. They said the sense is that the feature is very close to completion and that a lot of work was poured into it, making its emission very puzzling. On the Xbox Series X, at least, there are no performance issues either. It's really smooth in the 60 FPS mode with the console set to output 60 hertz. It's even mentioned that playing split screen on Xbox One is perfectly serviceable and a solid way to play, although performance and resolution drops are understandably more common, especially on the original 2013 model. They also said dynamic resolution seems to top out at 720p, but can drop as low as 540p, making the game look very blurry. Draw distance is comprised to the point where low poly imposters for enemies are drawn in at very close range, while the range of Halo Infinite's real-time shadows is also savagely pulled in. Performance is also wobbly, in part thanks to the game's inconsistent frame pacing at 30 frames per second, but also through genuine frame rate drops into the mid-20s in the open world. Nevertheless, the bulk of Digital Foundry's report is extremely positive, so the outlet contacted Microsoft for comment about why the feature was canceled despite appearing to work very well. And 343 had the following. Quote, hearing back from the development team, we were told that they were politely declining to provide comment on this occasion. So
it's funny when you say this is my developer hat coming on, right?
Yeah.
It's funny that these people are like, hey, we hacked it and got it working. And it works really well. I wonder why they got rid of it, and then you just rattle off like 5 things that all just scream, well, that's a problem. Well, that's a problem. Well, and none of these problems are small. Yeah, frame rate dips. Who loves those? Like, oh, I love when my resolution just tanks as well. You know what I mean? It's like
that part there was on the Xbox One.
But that game is on Xbox One. See, so there's a problem there, right?
Understandably.
Maybe if it wasn't on Xbox One, because the thing is would they rather say,
but what about saying put it on
only do this on Xbox Series X and S?
Yes. Why not?
Well, sure. Or just say, you know what? I mean, well, so there's 2 things, right? That's one thing. So that's one thing they could do, but then they still have to make sure if any of these things are not on the Xbox One Series X or S, right? So the thing is, they rattle off all these things, and we might look at them at face value, what they say in this article, but we have no idea like what that actually takes to fix, right? And it might just take more and more time. And hey, they say they're scrapping it now. That's not to say in a year or 2 they might come back and be like, hey, by the way, we got it working on us as a side project when everybody was done dealing with everything else people are complaining about. Because like you said, people are complaining. Most of the people complaining are complaining for the multiplayer because there isn't new content coming out. But doing a live service game takes a long time to make content, and I just don't think they were ready. But as far as the single player thing, I think as soon as they get co-op working, which should
And
be
Forge.
number one, and Forge. Forge and co-op are number one. You know,
that's why I think it was scrapped.
Yeah, well, scrapped.
I think they're trying to refocus the people on.
Yep.
And I hope that's what they're doing. Is like, look,
sure, I agree.
Co-op, Forge, in content for the multiplayer. That's it.
Yep.
Everything else, screw it. We're done. We're not no DLC, none of that. Everything's got to be shelved to get this going and get it up to speed. Once they can fix that, then they can start. Okay, now let's look at split screen if it's needed. Let's look at DLC campaign. Whatever. And I'm for that.
And that's the thing is like they could scrap it and say, hey, this is indefinitely postponed. Postponed indefinitely, which doesn't mean forever. I mean, it could mean forever, but it doesn't mean forever. You know what I mean?
Well, they did say it was canceled.
Yeah, or canceled. But the thing is like, because once they go and do all the other stuff, that doesn't mean like, oh, we're finally done. It's like, nope, got to get on those. We got to get 3 more maps out before the people who get to play this game for free online start complaining again. I understand. I'm a Halo fan, right? I understand, but I just went and played Halo and had a blast. Yeah, it was on some maps I've already seen before, but I'm just having fun with my friend. You're playing Halo. Like if you have to see a different map again, but it's like, there's other games out there that have the same map for a long, long time. But again, that's a different game. You're not playing Halo to play on the same map all the time. But it does come to a point in time where it's like, hey, people are too good at this map. Every corner, everything. So now the games aren't as fun, right? So we need to get some things in here to change it up a little bit. Like I understand that. And I just think they weren't ready. They didn't have enough in the hopper ready to release. And I think that's also where they need to scrap this so we can put people on making content to get loaded up. So every 2 months we can make a drop, 2 months make a drop, get on these live service update drops. But the thing is also it's like, saying the game's trash. Like one more person shows me a screenshot of the active players in Halo on Steam. Like, hey, this game's trash. Nobody's playing it. Okay, mister, I picked one platform to show how many people are playing this game. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, thanks. It's funny because it was obviously a Sony person doing this. I almost sent him a screenshot like, hey, nobody's playing Horizon Forbidden West on Steam. It's 0 players right now. The game must suck.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, well, it's not on that platform. Well, you're only picking one of the 4 that Halo is on. It's like, give me a break, dude. But, and the thing is for the
Sony just canceled a game because it was so bad.
I got to drop.
Hi, Rob.
Hey, real quick before I go, there's a game called Gloomhaven. It's going to be on the Epic Store starting Thursday for free. Definitely check it out if you're a board gamer. Gloomhaven, September 22nd.
All right. You
have to have the Epic. What is it? The Epic Store?
Epic Store, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, all right, guys. I gotta go.
Does Rob's audio mix down right when he drops off?
I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna let it run.
Okay,
it'll be good. All right,
just mute.
Yep. So,
all right. Bye, Rob.
But yeah, like, and the thing is for the people, just remember. I mean, some people put money. It's a live service game. That's how it's a free to play game. Multiplayer. Just remember that it's free to play. So, I mean, I have a hard time complaining about a free game. You know what I mean? It's just I mean, there's things about complaining, and then there's things about like just telling everybody they're trash and 343 should not exist and everybody should lose their job. And I'm like, dude, is this because you don't have 2 more maps to play on right now? Because I think you're taking a little like too far. It's like you're way beyond like trying to reel them in. You're like, that's a person you can't reel in at that point in time when they're just like, we need a new developer and all that stuff. Good.
And I agree, but I want to play devil's advocate. But I do agree with you there. It is free, but Fortnite's free, and they get content. They change every week. They get new stuff there's new content in that game every day. in the store. Every 24 hours, there's new stuff in the store. They
And it's
get
recycled sometimes, but yes, I agree with you. I know what you're
sometimes it
saying.
is.
Yep.
Yeah. There's new stuff going in every week. Like there's something that changes. I mean, we've had map changes in the middle of seasons multiple times. There's things that are growing. You can go in one day and then the next day it's like, whoa, look at that. What was that? Galacticus was moving closer, or the comet, the meteor was moving closer to the island. And at one point you could go get on it because it kept moving closer every day. I mean, there's all these different things, and you've got Call of Duty, which comes out every year, and they can usually kick out 1 or 2 map packs in less than in that time frame before the year's up. You've got games like Destiny that are live service games that have. Now the difference is, I will say that the difference of everything I'm saying as an example is they've been around for a while, and
they have a lot of developers.
and they've
What's
got
the
they got
development team size?
experience and the time to do it. And yes, Call of Duty is like 9 different developers working Call of Duty, so
Yeah.
it's not necessarily a fair comparison, or I should say, it's not a fair comparison. But the standard gamer is not aware of that.
Right.
They see it as, well, Call of Duty gives me stuff constantly. They don't realize that there's 8,000 people working on that game compared to a couple hundred at whatever at 343. So yeah, when you come down to it, and you and I and Rob are like, well, we know why. We can understand why there's differences and all this type of stuff. The average gamer's not. And then the media doesn't, the gaming's media just, they want controversy because
I know.
it gets people going to check them out. So they're not going to set the record straight.
And how long is a Fortnite season? Because that was the thing, I always turn back to Apex because I remember them talking to those guys at Apex and they're like, how long does it take to redo a map and to do a season? And he says, and the guy said 6 months. So the thing
I'm sure it takes a long time.
Yeah, so like Fortnite, right? They just released today and the season goes for like 3 or 4 months. I'm sure the next the next event, chapter 5 or whatever, season, chapter
well
3,
underway.
Season 4 is probably close to being finished. Like it's probably wrapping up, being finished, and they're going to start on the next one. So that's what I mean as enough in the hopper. Like I think when 343 started with Halo, it was like, okay, we have season 1 done. And they're like, let's release it. And it's like, all right, we're going to go get started on season 2. And then it was like, hey, we need to delay season 2 because we're not ready. It's like, no, you probably should have had at least 3 seasons done and then released. You know what I mean? Because then that gives them time. It's the same thing like Call of Duty. Yes, you're right. Call of Duty does come out every year. But remember, each game takes 3 years to make. So not only is the next Call of Duty currently in probably it's going into its 3rd year of development as this one is coming up to release. The one after that is in year 2 of development. Or sorry, year 2 of development. And then the one that's after that, which is the 3rd one, is in year 1 of development right now. So they're actually 3 games out. So if you take games and turn it into seasons, it's the same thing. Like that's the thing I think where Halo messed up. And that's what I'm saying is like, hey, that is probably where they messed up. And yes, people are like, hey, this stuff's taking too long to come out. And there's no denying it. I agree with that. But my thing is going that extra step and saying the game sucks, the game this, the game. It's like, no, it doesn't. The game does not suck. The game is actually great. And it's fun. You know what I mean? And I have a blast playing with my friends. And it's 100% free to play. If you're, take a break, go play another game. Like there's nothing, like you don't have to play Halo 24/7. But that's what they want with a live service game. But the thing is that's why numbers drop. You know what I mean? So it's like, I guess it's, I think they're going to be able to right the ship, right? Like you said. But unfortunately, I think maybe this couch co-op was something that suffers because of that. But at least it's not Forge and co-op because I'm still excited for co-op. But yeah, and the media, you're right about the media. It's like they'll do anything. But I'll just say some people can get away with stuff like that, and some people can't. And unfortunately, 343 can't because this is like the 3rd punch in the face for them. You know what I mean? It's like they keep kind of screwing this up. And I feel bad for Bonnie Ross, who had to leave. But of course, she was leaving anyways, as far as I understand. She's
Yeah.
just leaving a little earlier for family stuff. So I hope her family's all right, because that's, we don't want any of that. But cool.
All right. So going to the next item, Deathloop, we mentioned, is coming out this week on the 20th. So that's on Tuesday. It's coming to Game Pass. You can pre-install it right now. I already did. So this was announced. And for those of you that are on PlayStation, it's also I believe it's also going to PlayStation. What is it, Plus or Extra or something like that? Whatever they're on the same day, September 20th. So I guess it's going to become free on PlayStation as well on the same day for if you have that program. But when it does come to Game Pass on Tuesday, it's going to come with a free Golden Loop update. It's going to that'll add new content in the form of cross-platform PvP matchmaking, a new Fuge ability, a new Halps prototype weapon, a new Paint Bomber enemy, 4 new ability grades for Juliana's Masquerade ability, new 2-in-1 trinkets, and even an extended ending. And it says it sounds like Xbox Play Anywhere is supported as well. So yeah, if you don't yet have it, if in your Game Pass, you can pre-install it so you're ready to go on Tuesday. Are you going to play it again, Bron?
I actually didn't finish the whole thing, so yes, I am.
All right.
So
that's what I've got.
All right. So now it's my turn?
Absolutely.
So you already did the Discord stuff?
No, we're on Forza 10 year, or is that not you?
That's not me.
Oh, that must have been Rob.
It must have been Rob. But yeah, so Forza Horizon 5 is to get a 10-year anniversary update in October. So they announced that it'll be getting October 11th, and the Horizon team will be celebrating the series' 10th anniversary throughout the entire month as well. Relive some of the series' most iconic gameplay moments, brought to life with the all-new story, the return of a fan-favorite music, and adrenaline-fueled midnight battle mode, where you can score cars by winning head-to-head races. So, yeah, more Forza Horizon 5 stuff. GoldenEye. I think you mentioned GoldenEye already too, right?
I just mentioned it's coming out. It's
Yeah,
it's going to be free.
Yeah,
if you have Rare Replay.
Well, it's funny because it's free for digital owners of Rare Replay, which I think Rare Replay was given away at one point in time. So it's like, isn't that
maybe?
Isn't that technically everybody? But
you won't be able to buy it, is my understanding.
Oh, so.
It's unless you buy Rare Replay.
Yeah, but I mean,
if you already have it, it's free. But if you want GoldenEye, I guess you have to buy Rare Replay to get it because it's going into that library, to speak.
Yeah, so if you're interested in getting access to GoldenEye outside of Game Pass, because Rare Replay is in Game Pass. But like I said, I thought Rare Replay was given away at some point in time as far as like games with gold.
But even so,
it's only $7.50 right now if you go get it. It's on sale right now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that'll be heading
in mind. This is single player only.
Yeah.
There's no online multiplayer. It might have split screen, but there's no online multiplayer with GoldenEye 007 for the Xbox. Supposedly, it has it on the Switch, but what I have heard is it has something to do with the way Nintendo does their networking and the way they do their online. It's not really traditional 4-player multiplayer. You're still, I guess, like it still thinks of it as like a split screen, but it has something to do with the way their network works, and that's why their versions, I guess, will have quote online multiplayer, but it really is not what we would traditionally think of that. So, don't go in with this high hopes. This is absolutely a nostalgia thing. I don't expect it to be like modern day visuals and online multiplayer and all that type of stuff, because that's not what this is.
All right. So for those, remember Discord is coming to Xbox in a way. So it's actually general availability to everybody right now. So what you do, just give everybody a heads up. Here's what I did. I got my iPhone. I open up the Xbox app on my iPhone, and there's a thing about connecting Discord on like one of the top like scrolling images. I clicked it, and basically I followed the prompts through there. So it had me sign in, and then it had me open up the Discord app and then accept a couple things through Discord, connecting Xbox to Discord. Even if you've already connected Xbox to Discord in the past, you got to do it again. And that's because it's like when it's asking you for permissions, it's asking you for a little bit more. And then once you do that, you can then join on your phone. You just join the channel you want to join as if you're joining on your phone like normal. And there will be a button there that says send this to Xbox. And then when you click that, it'll say which Xbox, and you click it, and all of a sudden it pops on your Xbox, and boom, you're connected to Discord.
See, this is where I kind of miss what they call that, the sidebar on Xbox One.
Yeah,
you could have had a Discord app. Yeah,
Well,
you just pin it, and then you could be like in Discord really with
Yeah. And I've read where that might be coming. I kind of read where it's like, their hopes in the future to have maybe a first, a connected app or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why they don't do that. There's obviously reasons, or there is something coming down the road, but that could also be we can't put out the app yet because Sony has that deal with Discord. Maybe they're the ones that's supposed to get the app first, or maybe Sony's paying them to not put the app on Xbox. You just never know nowadays with Sony just buying everything to keep it off of other platforms. So
yeah,
we don't want them to lose their first place.
Yeah.
We got to make sure we keep everything we do on our side, on Xbox side. We got to make sure we keep them happy. We have to keep them happy. Like, swaddle them, tuck them in. Make sure you feed them a little extra. Give them a nice little burp before you lay them and tuck them into bed. But okay.
Bron, sorry. Hold on a second. I got to take this. Hold on.
Okay.
Hello, this is Mark. Oh my gosh. Jim, stop calling me. We're not even talking about you. Dude, stop. We went through this last week. Oh my gosh. I'm hanging up, dude. Goodbye. Just go away. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, Bron. I don't know how Jim Ryan got my freaking number, but he just keeps bugging me. We weren't even talking about him. He's sensitive, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. It's funny that you say that, because in our last week in Sony crying about Xbox Activision merger news. So, we had our whole show, and it's funny because a lot of people are like, we're tired of hearing about this. And I'm just like, yes, I am tired of hearing about it. But there's just you just can't ignore it, because every moment that you hear something about it, but because what happened is the CW or C whatever. CWA? CMA? Yeah, so the CMA has went through and said, hey, nobody replied in the 5 days we gave you, because, after we made our public dog and pony show, Sony pony show, we gave you 5 days to answer, and Microsoft did not send any response. So they're like, all right, well, we're sending it to phase 2. And if you remember, phase 2 was expected. It's 100% expected. The thing is, and I put this in the thing in our group, is Microsoft not answering for those things. Basically, at that point in time was like, here, let us tell you all these things and offer all these, consent decrees. We will do this to appease your question about this. We'll do this to appease to limit down your worries on this, and like, let us do this for you, or for the competition. Like, let us do all these things, basically like giving up a bunch of stuff, right? And the whole thought was, it doesn't matter. This thing was going to going to phase 2. So if they hurry up and gave up a bunch of stuff there and it still went to phase 2, which means now you got to give up more, possibly. They just said, we're not going to say anything. So the question is are they not saying anything because it's like, well, we're not going to give up anything now. We'll save, hey, Sony, we'll put it on your console forever, blah, 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 blah for the phase 2? Or is it, you should have took what you got because now we're going to embarrass you? And I hope it's the second. And again, I don't think Microsoft's going to take Call of Duty off PlayStation. And for one, they've already said they're not going to. But
there makes no sense to do that.
Yeah. So
financially, I don't see why you'd wander almost $1.5 billion a year.
Yeah. And that was kind of the thing. It's like, they went in and industry.biz or whatever this thing that Sony gets all these articles out to these people is like, oh, we're welcoming. I'm trying to find it. Was it Tom? Is it Tom Warren? Or it's Paul.
I don't know.
Tassi. I think it's Paul Tassi because there's Warren and there's Paul Tassi from like Forbes.
Yeah, I think Tassi's kind of like Forbes.
Yeah, because it was like the last thing he wrote is like, I think Microsoft's getting tired of Microsoft is growing tired of Sony's Call of Duty complaints was his article. It says, because they're welcoming it. Like, oh, we're welcoming your phase 2. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. Because here's what they said. By giving Microsoft control of Activision games like Call of Duty, this deal would have major negative implications for gamers in the future of the gaming industry. Sony said in a statement to GameIndustry.biz, we want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality gaming experience, and we appreciate the CMA's focus on protecting gamers. Time out. Let's break this down.
Yep.
This deal would have major negative implication for gamers, that's all gamers, and the future of the gaming industry. Now Microsoft and Activision is ruining the gaming industry. Like, this...
We'll break it down even further. Gamers. Going to ruin it for gamers. So, is it going to ruin it for Xbox gamers? Well, no, because now we're getting Call of Duty and Diablo and all this other stuff for free or as part of our Xbox Game Pass subscription, right? Yeah. So we're going to save
content. Without missing content, by the way.
Well, yeah. So we're going to save money. We're going to get all content now. So that doesn't, it's not making it worse for Xbox gamers. Okay, so they must mean PC gamers. Well, no, because the game ships on PC as well, day and date, and Microsoft wouldn't change that since they're a PC company. So doesn't mean PC gamers. So that must mean Nintendo. Well, the Switch is the leading selling console, and they don't even have Call of Duty. Yeah. And Microsoft has talked about bringing Call of Duty to the Switch, so it wouldn't impact them negatively. It actually would allow them to potentially get Call of Duty on their platform, which is interesting that they can. What I want to know is how is Nintendo Switch the leading console seller, the number one in the market, and they don't have Call of Duty? Because Jim Ryan is saying that it will destroy all gamers, which really now we only have one group of gamers left, which is, oh, wait, no, we also then got one more because it must be referring to mobile gamers. Oh, wait, except Activision just announced they've got Warzone Mobile coming to mobile.
Yeah.
So that means mobile players will be able to play Call. So no, that's not. Yeah, so we're really down to PlayStation. So really, we really want to translate what Jim is really saying, Jim Crying Ryan, is that it will impact PlayStation gamers. And guess what? I don't think it'll impact PlayStation gamers because PlayStation gamers can play on PC, they can play on Xbox, they can play where Game Pass is available. So really, it's not even gamers. What he's really saying is it will hurt Sony's shareholders and their financial pocketbook. That's what that statement really is saying.
Well,
So Jim Lion Crying Ryan is full of it. He's absolutely full of it.
And if I was a PlayStation gamer, if I was a PlayStation gamer and this thing did fall through, do you know where I, as a PlayStation gamer, I would play Call of Duty?
On PlayStation.
On PlayStation, because they said they're putting it on the PlayStation, so that's where I would play it. So they're not impacted either.
But
it's basically Sony losing their ability to control content on one of the biggest games. That's what it is. They lose their control of basically, because that's the other thing is like Paul and Tom Ryan is like their thing is like, oh yeah, Sony says it'd be bad to have this, do this and do that, but yet then they show all the ads over the last week that you've been seeing for Call of Duty because the beta's going on.
Hold on. What you're trying to tell me is Jim Ryan is saying exclusives are bad?
I think
he doesn't want this to be exclusive to Xbox because that's bad for gamers.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Okay. That's what you just read. Yeah. That if Microsoft has this, it's bad for everyone. So if it's exclusive Microsoft property, then it's bad for gamers. So because exclusives are bad. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but you were going to talk about advertisement or something going on this week.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because right now you can play the Call of Duty demo, but you got to have it. It's exclusive.
I don't see that on my
right now. Well, it's because it's exclusive to PlayStation right now. But no.
Wait, you said Jim said exclusives are bad.
Well, but Mark, we're talking content and betas right here, not buying an entire publisher and taking a game away from an entire group of people. That's the difference. Those exclusives are okay.
Oh, so I'm still going to get that Japanese character that they showed that looked like the cool samurai. Did you see that? He comes out in that like bluish colored, trimmed samurai looking outfit with swords, and he's walking through the Call of Duty map. And did you see that? Oh, I can't wait to play that guy. That I'm buying him. If he's not free, I'm buying that sucker day one. That is so cool.
Yeah, that's only on PlayStation.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you didn't get that?
What? Wait a minute. That means that's exclusive then. That's exclusive.
Yeah.
But
exclusives are
so
bad,
you're saying I can't play that as an Xbox gamer? I can't have that character, or I can't play in the beta? Or
I honestly, I know we're kind of joking right now, but honestly, I don't know because what would be funny is people who have a PlayStation unlock that character and then go play on PC. Can you actually use that skin, or is it really, really only locked to PlayStation? Because that would be hilarious,
Yeah.
But yeah. But moving on. That's like, not to drive it into the dirt, because that's the thing is like this has been going on for like 3 weeks now, but they just keep putting their foot in their mouth and they keep saying the same thing. And again, Microsoft has to respond, right? And their response was, it makes zero business sense for Microsoft to remove Call of Duty from PlayStation, given its market-leading console position. That is Microsoft saying that. And I'll tell you what, they worded it that way on purpose because, and I got this from somebody else. This is from Hogue. He said they worded that way on purpose. For one, it's showing, hey, this deal is not harmful. They're the market leader. We're just trying to compete, right? And then the other thing is well, it makes no business sense to take it off the PlayStation, given it's the market leading console. But what happens when it's not the market leading console? Well, now we don't have to. Now we don't have to. Yeah. But let's be honest.
Yeah, once they're not gaining $1.5 billion a year from Sony, then there is no point to put it there. That makes sense. And I get what Sony's position is. I don't fault them. I don't fault them for trying to keep their business financially successful. Okay.
Oh yeah, I understand.
What I have the problem with is the bold-faced, lying, two-faced, sitting there going, "Oh, CMA, oh, FTC, oh, anyone that'll listen. Poor old Microsoft or big old meanie Microsoft's picking on poor little old Sony who's so little in the industry. We're just trying to get started. These guys have been around forever and they're picking on us and they're going to destroy us. And they want to make everything exclusive when that is all Sony has done." And on the day that thing came out, that Ryan was talking about how this exclusivity would impact and hurt every gamer, which translated to nobody other than Sony corporate shareholders. That's the only people that would be impacted by the loss of revenue potentially. So that was a lie. But the fact that then they turn around and like, oh, you can play the Call of Duty beta exclusively on PlayStation. You can have this cool character exclusively on PlayStation. You're going to get exclusive content only on PlayStation. Yeah. At the same day you're talking about how exclusivity is bad, you're advertising all the exclusivity items on a cross-platform title that does take away from other gamers. It's the two-faced lying that is going on. That's what I have a problem with. And that's what I think a lot of people have a problem with. And I'm even actually, I've actually kind of started listening to some Sony gamers who are actually complaining, going, "Tim, what are you doing?
I know. Yep.
You're making us, like your own customers, look weak and like we're crying. Like this is, yes, there are the ponies that are still mouthing off and running their mouth, but you actually have your PlayStation customers going, what are you doing? Shut up." And they're saying he's two-faced. So
that's the funny part is those people, the same people, like, because remember, most of the people I'm bashing, kind of hitting on, are the pony people, right? Because I'll give you a couple examples here in a second. But a lot of those people who are just like, hey, we play mainly on Sony. That's the platform we prefer, which is great. Like, hey, whatever floats your boat, right?
I'm cool with it.
They're saying, Jim, you need to shut up. Not only are you making us look weak and you're making us look bad, you're actually could possibly cause harm to your gamers.
Yes.
Because I have to sit here and say, I can't see Phil Spencer sitting back going, "Oh, that silly Jim Ryan. He's just the funniest guy," right? No. Like, I don't think I've ever seen Phil Spencer mad, but I can see him, somebody walking up, like kind of leaning down, like whispering in his ear and saying, like, Jim Ryan just shoved his foot in his mouth again and said blah, 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 blah. And Phil Spencer looking up and saying, "That's strike two, Jim. One more and you're out." You know what I mean? Because I'm a type of person, like, I hate to say it, business is cutthroat, right? People say Phil Spencer's a liar. They're saying he's two-faced. They're saying, oh, look what he did with this. Like, oh, he bought Bethesda and took games off. It's like, yeah, and he said he was going to.
Yeah.
Go find the quotes. He's not two-faced. He said he was going to.
He didn't.
And he was like,
he did not take games away from anyone. The games that are cross-platform are staying cross-platform.
Still there, are staying platform. But he took Starfield. Well, that
wasn't released anywhere.
I know. Yeah. So that's some of the things people are saying. Is like, no. And they're like, and don't forget, PlayStation was trying to get that exclusive, right? So like, those are the things. And then people are coming back. It's like, it's not the same. They're like, he's a liar. They said he was going to put it on the platform, and then he was only going to keep it on there for 3 years and then take it away. And I would like,
that's not what he said either.
Well, that was my thing. Is like, I'll give you $1,000 right now if you can show me where he said that.
Yeah.
Now, if he kept it for 3 years and then took it away, say that's what he did, I would kind of look. I'm like, boo on you, Phil Spencer. I don't think that was the right move. I don't like it. Right. I will voice my concern if that day arises. Right. Yep. But I was just saying is like, he has never said that. Ever has he said that he's taken that off the platform. Ever has he said it. The 3-year deal thing was a deal. Who says they weren't going to sign another 3-year deal? And I can tell you why Microsoft doesn't want to sell it in perpetuity, like later on, is because why would I give something to a competitor and then let them call the shots? Right. No, I call the shots with my IP.
I paid $70 billion for this IP.
Where's their money that they're putting into this that says they get to dictate what happens? No.
They don't get to dictate it.
Yeah, they will get the game and they will get them on our terms. They don't get any more deals. We get the exclusive stuff. We don't care about skins. Put every skin on. Who cares? His whole thing is he wants it on Game Pass. So that's the thing that really burns me. And there's people just on Twitter, right? Just sitting there like, oh, they need swaddled again. Somebody give them a piece of candy. Like we gotta keep them quiet. But it's just like, man, they keep saying it's not the same. They're like, oh, you're comparing content. Oh, it's not the same. That's our IP. And it's like, well, yeah, this will be their IP. It's just like they just keep sending their ways in circles. And the best thing I heard from Colin Moriarty is like, if you have to explain it like as in a defense, you are losing. If I have to explain that me buying exclusivity deals and pulling stuff off your thing so you can't have it is different than you owning the IP and making it exclusive to your console. If I have to explain that and try to explain how it's different and it's not the same and you're bad and I'm good, if you have to explain that, you are losing because it's unexplainable. Like it's because it's the same. Like you're just trying to spin something that can't be spun, right? That's basically the whole thing there. So the people that are doing that, it's like, dude, it's like, you guys just, again, I know we're talking about way too long, but it's like, give it a rest. It's going to go through. You're going to get Call of Duty. And 2 years from now, you're not even going to think, oh, yeah, that's right. Microsoft does own that now. Like, that's the way it's going to be. Nothing's going to change. Except for maybe, yes, Sony's bottom dollar might change a little bit. Because people might wisen up a little bit and say, you know what, instead of buying this on a PlayStation, I might get it on PC. Or I might buy an S and subscribe. Or what happens after that 3-year deal if they say, hey, do you want a modified version of Game Pass and we're going to give it to you via Game Pass? Do you want Call of Duty or not? And then it'll be their decision to say, no, we don't want Call of Duty. We do not want Game Pass. And be like, all right, tell your gamers you don't get Call of Duty because we're offering it to you in Game Pass. And you're saying no. Because I can tell you, if Jim Ryan comes out and says, Microsoft said we cannot have Call of Duty, the only way we would get it is if we had a put Game Pass on PlayStation. And how many PlayStation gamers are going to be like, well, what else do we get on Game Pass? Wait, you're telling me we could have had Game Pass and you told them no?
Could have Starfield. It wouldn't be modified. It would be Game Pass. Well, have access to everything like Starfield
it would be any in my mind it would be anything that they can't sell on their machine, right? Because that would be taking money. That would be taking. So it'd be like all Xbox first party games that are exclusive to Game Pass and Xbox. Though Starfield, that's a great. Say Starfield's on it.
Overwatch, Diablo, Call of Duty. Yeah.
Can you imagine being a PlayStation gamer only and being like, you're telling me I could have played those games and had that subscription, but you said no?
Redfall.
Oh, man. It'd be crazy. But, all right. The other thing I was going to say...
Forza, Avowed, Perfect Dark.
So past that, I was going to say Jim Ryan might need to look at a couple other things because I saw this and it was talked about. Deviation Games was a brand new... company founded by Jason Blundell and David Anthony. They founded Deviation Games. Now they're ex-Treyarch developers, and quickly announced that they were making a brand new IP in collaboration with PlayStation. So you know what that means? The game was going to be exclusive to PlayStation, right?
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, if these are ex-Treyarch people, what type of game do you think this was?
Call of Duty.
It was going to be something like Call of Duty, right? Now, the thing is these guys have yet to show anything of this game. It hasn't really supposed to start like this year. So there's nothing proven, but Sony jumped on it immediately and signed them to a second party deal, right? Which means, again, exclusive to PlayStation. Yep. And they're hoping it's a PlayStation killer. Well, it just came out that Jason Blundell, one of them, is leaving. Now, one of two things pop up in my mind, right? The reason why he's leaving, because nobody really knows why he's left. And now they're wondering, well, what's going on with the project, right? Two things in my mind. One, he was not happy now that he is stuck under PlayStation exclusivity. They formed a developer to make a game. And now you're saying you're only getting to sell it to one group of people? He might not like that, right? My second thing is why would you want to be making a game exclusively for a console when they just came out and said that the game this probably is like can never be replicated?
Yeah.
Can never be competed with. Nothing will ever be built like it. And yet you're developing a game like that, and the people that you're supposed to be selling this to is now saying that your game is already trash and can't be compared to Call of Duty. Like, I would be, and I'd love to know the reason why he left, because it'd be great to find out. I was like, well, why would we be making a game? Why would I want to make a game with PlayStation when they just told me my game is already going to suck and not compete with this other game that I helped build? Like, I think he helped with like zombies and stuff like that. It's just like, what type of game they're making. It's a live service first person shooter game is what it's going to be. It still might come out, but it's like, you just sat there and said to my face that my game's going to suck publicly, and you keep saying it. And it's like, why would I want to deal with that? But yeah, so maybe Jim Ryan needs to start, focusing back down to his developers and stuff that they have going on, because, I guess, I don't know, God of War is already winning Game of the Year or something like that, because there was a trailer shown, which I love God of War, and it's going to be fantastic, but I don't think it's going to win Game of the Year. But, because after God of War comes out,
it depends on how much money Sony pays to what's his name, Healy.
Oh, I don't know, because again, remember, we have to check on when those voting for Game of the Year awards closes for Game of the Year. Because remember,
last year, didn't
December.
They said it was, I think last year they said it was the beginning of November.
November 10th. Yeah.
And it was, and Forza came out November 8th, I think.
8th.
But then they said, oh, well, the decision for Game of the Year was actually already selected like in October. Well,
something.
How can you select it before the final date of submission?
I don't know.
That right there proves it's rigged.
Right. Well,
that proves it's okay, maybe not rigged, but it's not legit.
Yep. So we'll find out, because Forza is available for Game of the Year this year.
Well, also, and honestly, and I didn't play it, but what's the game everyone talked about?
Elden Ring.
So big. Elden Ring. Thank you.
Elden Ring's winning it.
It better. Like, I didn't play it. It's not my type of game. But when you have a game that is sold, I remember hearing it's an insane amount of copies that they sold too. I just heard it the other day. I want to say it was like, it's as of August 22nd, they've sold 16.6 million units.
Yep.
Okay. Almost 17 million units. And the game came out in the early beginning of this year. It was the spring, right?
March. Yeah, it was like March.
Okay, so in March, April, May, June, July, August, in 6 months, it sold almost 17 million copies.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Game of the Year, you can't say, God of War was Game of the Year when it's only available on one platform. And it got smoked. They won't sell 17 million units of God of War in the next 2 years.
Well, so that, that's kind of the thing, is God of War won Game of the Year in 2018. And it deserved it. It deserved to win then. But it took them 4 years to sell 20 million copies. 4 years to sell 20 million copies.
Yeah, these guys did almost 17 and so these guys will probably hit over 17 million, maybe close to 20 million by the time the awards show even comes around.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and the thing is, it's just, it took everything by storm. People just, it's something that deserves an award. Now,
and Sony invested in them too.
Yeah. And I'm going to love and enjoy, God of War probably. I'm sure. But I'm just saying, it is going to be a continuation of the first God of War. So tell me what part about it is going to be one. What's going to make it a 10 again? Oh, the story's still good. Okay, well, does that mean it's a 10? Because
The money
to
that
me, a
Sony
10, yeah, to me, a 10 and a masterpiece and the way you rank things is like typically sequels to a game don't get the same thing, right?
right.
They can go up. Most of the time they drop like a half point to a point. You know, I'm sure God of War will get like 9s. I'm sure, you know, every PlayStation magazine will give it a 10. They do with all their games, right? But I mean, it's just like what is going to be the changing factor? Like what's going to be so different in that game where it's like, holy cow, they did it again. They invented and just took this to the next level after, you know, you just again when they release the same type of game every time too. I think people are kind of getting a little tired of seeing the same game from Sony as well. It's the same type of genre and game every time. But we'll see. I mean, maybe it will. Maybe it will win, but I will say if Elden Ring doesn't win and God of War does win, the
It will
only
be a
people that
controversy.
the only people that'll be happy about that is PlayStation people because you're just basically telling PC people that they're full of crap. You know what I mean? It's just it's crazy. Like it's going to be Elden Ring. I mean that's my thing. And Forza Horizon 5 should be included in that. Should be included in that as well.
Well, see, it won't be because they'll say, "Oh, well, it was released before the deadline last year, so it was actually in last year's."
We'll find out. We'll find out.
It
But
won't be.
again,
It won't. Because
but
then they're
God of
saying, "Well, then
War,
how can you have it in for 2 years?"
yeah, but God of
Because
War
it came
probably
out
won't be
before their
included.
deadline.
Yeah, but God of War probably won't be included in Game of the Year. And then the Sony people will have
So
the same complaints we had about the Forza, which is actually right. Like they should complain because it's the same complaints we had because it is true. Like, what do you mean you didn't include the game came out in November, the beginning of November, and you're not including it for Game of the Year? For
says
you
it
know,
says
like
I'm looking at oh, Wednesday, November 9th, 2022 is the release date. According to an article, just the first of this year, says the devs have confirmed Wednesday, the 9th of November.
for
That would
what?
be what? The day before the deadline of Achilles?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I knew it was just like something, but I mean they have
You
it listed
watch.
on their website somewhere where it's like, you know, when does voting closed and stuff like that. But we'll see. So, but cool. Yeah. Just keeping that I know that kind of sparked out of a side conversation, but yeah. The
Well,
only
one
other
thing
thing
I do want to say one additional thing. I wanted to add my thoughts here back to the Sony thing, and then I'm done. And hopefully we're done discussing this. I mean, I like the whole back and forth. It's kind of exciting, but at the same time, it's like you get tired of it.
right.
And it's just like I just want Microsoft to get the stuff in Game Pass and move on. But anyways, you mentioned earlier that PlayStation gamers were saying you could impact us, Jim Ryan. You could be hurting your own customers. And I do agree with that because you look at they're bullface lying to government agencies. And everybody in the industry knows this, including Microsoft. Microsoft has paperwork saying from with Sony with things they did with Bethesda in games that they did there. With you know, you we're paying you and you can't put this game in Game Pass, and we know. So Microsoft says we don't have to say anything. But what I can predict is what I really would like to happen. This is more of what I would like to happen. I would love to see this go to the stage 2, which it's going to. And I would like for the CMA and every other government agency to see what's going on. And for Microsoft to go in there and say, you know what? You've heard all the claims from Sony that we are a monopoly. We are going to hurt them. We're going to hurt gamers. And say, we're not hurting anyone because we're actually bringing better value to the customer by giving these games in Game Pass. We're cross-platform. We want it. We want these everywhere. The only place people can't play these games right now is Switch and PlayStation. And we're working to bring this, we will be bringing this game to Switch. So we're expanding this just like we did with Minecraft. And it will be offered to some. We're going to continue to bring it as it is today. Still going to bring it to them. So they can still have it. They can still have their number one game. They are, but talk about them saying all the claims they're making is actually what their business practices have been and currently are. They are the ones actively pursuing exclusives, trying to take content away from others. They're the ones impacting the gamers in the gaming industry in a very negative way. And I would really like that to come to light and have even the FTC, I would love it, the FTC to look into this and go, wait a minute. This is not being competitive. This is not being fair business practices. You are being unethical. And I would really like them to investigate Sony. Now, I don't say that to hurt Sony. I don't say that to shut them down. I don't want Sony PlayStation to go away because with competition drives the industry. That's why we have things like Game Pass and backwards compat and cross-platform because Microsoft is doing all these things to be competitive. But I think they, it's just his whining and crying and calling out someone for what he himself is doing and acting like they're not. It's like, I want the light to shine on them like they're trying to shine it on Microsoft. Microsoft has gone down this road with anti monopolistic and consumerisms, and they've dealt with the EU and we've talked about that before. I don't think they're stupid enough to continue to do that. Yet Sony's getting away with it and is pretty arrogant about things right now that, I would really like to see them come back and have it bite them in the rear and have some government focus on what they're really doing. And maybe we can finally get away from exclusives because exclusives hurt everyone, and I hope like what Phil said, why can't the gaming industry be like the movie, TV, music industry? I can go to my TV upstairs and I can launch Pandora. I can launch Amazon Music. I can launch, there's another one that's real popular. Spotify. And it doesn't matter what piece of plastic it's on. I can play Netflix. I can play Disney Plus. I can play Amazon Prime Stream. I can play, you name the app. I can put it on a single piece of plastic and I can do everything and watch whatever I want, subscribe to whatever I want. Video games plastic is different. And that's what Microsoft and Phil Spencer were talking about, and the fact that he believes exclusives are going to be a thing of the past. Because it won't matter. Because what he said was, you buy this plastic, I buy that plastic, and our kids can't play. If that goes away, then it doesn't matter if you buy a PlayStation or if you buy an Xbox or you buy a Switch or you buy a Luna or you buy a Stadia. It doesn't matter. I can buy an Xbox and I can launch PlayStation Game Pass. I can play Google Game Pass. I can buy these subscriptions. Not that I'm a big fan of millions of subscriptions because that's where everything's going, but I can buy what I want when I want and play what I want on a piece of plastic.
Right. Well, and the funny thing is,
and that's what I think could happen.
Yeah.
But if that, so the courts, because if the CMA says, no, Microsoft, you have to give this game forever to Sony, otherwise we're not going to approve it. Well, CMA can't stop this.
Right.
All they can do is control England. The CMA is the United Kingdom, Great Britain, London, and surrounding areas, right? So that's it. So Microsoft can say, fine, we won't sell it there. But guess what? That also means PlayStation doesn't get it. So again, Sony hurting their customers. And then Microsoft could also say, okay, CMA, we now have the right to sue you or take this to court. And that's where all this dirty laundry of Sony, and if the CMA is actually, because their statement, like we said last week, was like a PR statement from Sony. Like, you just said what they said. You're not even doing your job. That is not your job to be the voice of Sony. So that type of stuff could come out. And then if Sony gets hammered and gets massively fined, that's going to affect their ability to continue doing whatever they're trying to do. And it could impact their gamers. And, and Sony should just shut their mouth and find ways to compete ethically. All right, I'm done. But sorry.
Yeah, well, my thing is like, if you really think about it, a lot of this exclusive stuff, and nothing was exclusive to anything, like you said, a piece of plastic. So people who wanted to play on PlayStation went and bought a PlayStation, just played whatever games they wanted to play. You bought an Xbox, played whatever games you want to play. And I'm on PC, I play whatever games I want to play. It's funny because we just played Fortnite together today. I played on PC and you played on Xbox. You know,
and my kids were on their Switches.
Switches, right?
We had 5 people in the same game on 3 different platforms.
Yeah. And we could have had somebody, let's say Adam, I know he was on Xbox, but let's say he was on PlayStation. We could add 4 things on PlayStation. All the exclusive thing does is just so somebody can say that you don't have something they have. And what's fun about that?
It's to drive people to buy your hardware.
Well,
Microsoft is not a hardware company. Sony is.
Yeah, I'm just saying, as far as I know the company thing, but I'm saying a lot of these people that are just saying this shouldn't go through, this shouldn't be allowed, this shouldn't be this and this and this.
Oh.
All those people are, their main concern is because they like to be able to tell people that they have something nobody else has.
I'd rather everybody have Starfield. So when I go out there to play a multiplayer game, or I want to jump a co-op, there's a bigger audience. I make more friends. I meet, why limit who we can play with?
Right.
And that's all exclusivity does.
Yeah. And I will say that the PlayStation people out there, and I know, like, again, they're saying like the numbers, like, oh, Call of Duty is like, PlayStation is the number one thing of Call of Duty. And then people on the PlayStation store have the nerve to say, we are the biggest gaming community, the PlayStation people. So you just, and I just want to be like, dude, you need to like take a step back there, buddy, because I hate to tell you, you're not.
Mobile phones far exceed PlayStation community.
Right. And I think mobile gaming actually exceeds PC gaming, but PC gaming exceeds PlayStation gaming.
But back in the day, Facebook gaming beat Sony.
Yeah. So I'm just want to be like, hey, you need to kind of check yourself a little bit, because, you're not the universe does not evolve around you. But all right, last thing, because we are going over and we got like 3 minutes, I think. The Call of Duty event, if you didn't watch it, I did. Call of Duty actually looks really good this year.
It's
the funny thing neat. Is people were talking, it's like, oh, it seems a little slower. And I'm like, good. Because that was the one thing about Call of Duty. It was just so darn fast, right? And maybe that's just me, the old guy, talking. But I will say I watched
the same. I thought it looked nice and fast, like always.
It looks fast. But it does seem a little slower. And I'll tell you where the slower part comes is they modified slide canceling's gone, right? And it's still there. I have an article from somebody at Infinity Ward explaining, like, tactical sprinting is faster than actually running and doing a slide cancel, because you can slide out of a run, but you can't just kind of like cancel and spam it like you do all the time. Like that part's gone, which I think's great. But the funny thing is watching, when we watched Warzone 2.0, people playing it, like, all the people who play it all the time, how many people were running and then sliding and then like, oh crap, I can't do this again, and then would do it like 5 seconds later to do it and like do it again. It's like, dude, stop sliding. You can't do that anymore. Like, and it was like, oh, I can't do that. And then because it slows you down right now. And it was funny to watch them kind of do it. And then basically what happened is now they just run and hop every 3 seconds. So now they're doing the Fortnite hop, right? The bunny hop.
Yeah.
So it was just funny trying to watch them relearn. I'm like, hey, just to let you know, just press up on your controller D-pad or on your joystick, or press W, and then either click your thumbstick to sprint, or click shift to sprint. That's how you run in a first-person shooter game, just in case they need to be taught again how to do it. It's not 2-step slide, 2-step slide, 2-step slide, 2-step slide, 2-step slide. That's not how you traverse in Call of Duty anymore. And I'll tell you, some of them are very angry about it. They're like, it needs to be put back in. And everybody else is like, no, it doesn't. if you can't win without doing that, then you're just not good. And I was like, that is actually true, because I think to win in the game, you shoot somebody, right? You have to knock the person down. I'm sorry, slide canceling does not help your gunplay. So, but I am glad it's gone, and I think it has a nice speed. It's just a hair slower, is what it feels like to me. I don't know if it's the movement or whatnot, but it actually looks really good. I'm very excited to play the beta coming this week for us, because we have to wait a week so the exclusive beta stuff ends. So all gamers can enjoy it then. But yeah. All right. This week's game.
Mark and Prong. All right, that's it. I want to wrap this up. We got 19 games, so why don't we just hit by the dates? So coming on September 20th, all these are coming on September 20th. We have Arcane, Blood Waves. Then there's Construction Simulator, something called Deathloop. I don't know what that is. Hard Space Shipbreaker. I've thought about this too, so that might be an interesting one. Jack Move, Ruya. So all those coming out on the 20th.
All right. 21st is the Diofield Chronicle. One Shot World
Machine
Edition. Cheesy cow. I had to blink 5 times. DreamWorks Dragons Legend of the Nine Realms.
Okay, that's on the 22nd.
Sorry, 22nd. Okay, these are on the 22nd. I'll just do 22nd.
Okay.
The 22nd. IAI Serial Cleaners. Slime Rancher 2 game preview on Game Pass. Spider Heck. Strategic Mind Fight for Freedom. That's a tank game. Train Life Standard Edition. Beacon Pines. And you're up.
All right. On the 23rd, we got League of Enthusiastic Losers and Roar of Revenge. And then again, so Beacon Pines is Game Pass. Spider Heck is Game Pass. Slime Rancher 2 Game Pass. And I know there was more, I think. Double checking to make sure. Hard Space Shipbreaker and Deathloop, all Game Pass games. So there's a bunch coming to Game Passes.
Woo!
That's it. Thanks for learning your lesson for the music. I'm Mark, aka Wingman 709, taking off.
I'm Rob, also known as Presar. See you guys later. And I'm Brun, BJ Swig 33. Have a good night.